What's up, y'all? You rocking with Moochie, and this is Moochilla's Reviews. So hit the hammer, cause you came through. And what's up, y'all? I figured I'd do something different, do my little review a little different this week because it's so many things that happen. I feel like I gotta pop in every now and then and give y'all the real deal, let y'all know what's really going on. And we just gonna start it out. And this was a good episode. There's a lot of clues that was left. We're coming with a lot of conclusions. And this is episode 9, season 2, Power Book 2, Ghost. Let's get into it, y'all. This episode starts out with Tariq having a dream. And in this dream, he arrives to class early. Y'all know usually he's late. And the class is empty. He's the first one there, and it's just Councilman Tate writing on the blackboard. And when he turns around, it's Professor Jabari. It's Professor Jabari, and the class is talking about playing fair. And in the classroom, it is everyone that had a hand, that Tariq has had a hand in their demise. So the first person we see is Jabari, then we see Kanan, then we see Ray Ray. And I like the comment that he said with Ray Ray, you deserved what you got. And he said that, Tariq said, I was protecting my sister. And she was like, don't put that on me. Lakeisha, and she tells Tariq, Tasha wouldn't have killed me if it wasn't for you, and Cash would still have a mom. We see Proctor, and he explains how he left the door unlocked so Tommy could kill him. So basically everybody in this room is dead, and they had a hand, and Tariq had some sort of hand in their murder. The last person, 2 people we see is Professor Milgram, aka Keylock, and she is closest by the door. She gets a phone call from his dad, and the phone is ringing. And just as he gets to the door, Lauren is at the door, and he tells her, please don't come in here. And she says, I have perfect attendance. I'm not going to miss this class. And the phone is still ringing, and he wakes up. So the significance of the dream is, to me, do you think that Lauren is dead? Me, I don't think she's dead because she never physically walked into the classroom. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. So the phone that was actually ringing was Davis McLean calling Tariq to tell him that Councilman Tate is going to be Jenny Sullivan's next witness. McLean wants to know, what would Councilman Tate have on Tariq to be Jenny Sullivan's next witness? And he says he doesn't know, and they basically hang up from there. So then we jump to the Tate brothers. Kamal and Rashad are in the office, and they're talking about why would Jenny Sullivan call him to the stand. And it's about Professor Milgram's character and how they want to use him as a witness to talk about Professor Milgram's character so her testimony could stand. He gets a phone call from a finicky witness that keeps changing her story, and she's also a drunk. Now, if y'all want, y'all need to check out my girl Nita the Divas video. She got a little theory thing going on, and it's pretty good. Anywho, he takes this information and he tells Kamal, do not mention it to Jenny Sullivan. So we see Monet checking her phone, and she sees a report about Professor Milgram, and Zeke is mentioned in the article. So since the Last Supper, Zeke has not been answering any of Monet's calls, and she's with Mecca now. She's with Dante. He tells her, you need to give him some time to process this and let him get this through him. And he gets a phone call, and it's from Zeke, and Zeke wants to meet. I'm sorry, a text message. But he doesn't want Monet to come. So he says, don't worry, I'll get all 3 of us together, and we'll be one happy family, all kind of this, yada, yada, yada. So Tariq comes to class, and it's canceled. Councilman Tate cancels the class. He tells Tariq he needs him to provide some physical proof against Sweeney, or his testimony may help the prosecution. He also tells Tariq that he never thinks anything through. Tariq needs to provide this proof before Tate has to testify in court at 2 p.m. Now, we get to Mecca's apartment and Kane is there. Mecca comes in and Kane tells him that he's finished, everything's done for the day, and he's about to go home. Mecca has different plans for him. He wants him to stay, and Kane and him get into this back and forth, and Kane basically tries to stand his ground, but he is unsuccessful, y'all. He done took Kane's hand like he was going to chop it off with some meat cleaver, but then he puts his finger on some cell phone, and now the same access that Chef had to everything, weapons, etc., in the apartment, Kane has it now. So congratulations, Kane is Mecca's number 2. So he's stuck there. He can't go nowhere. And his first task is to make that phone call to his dad, Lorenzo. Let Lorenzo know that there is no product because they got robbed. So this is going to set a whole bunch of things into motion. And it's about to be on. So Lorenzo is telling Kane to come home now. Kane tells Lorenzo, I can't, I gotta go, and I'll speak to you later, Poppy. This sets Lorenzo off. He throws a glass through the mirror, and the room is already ransacked, and I believe that was because of what happened at the Last Supper. So when he throws that glass, Drew and Diana hear it, and they rush into the room, and they want to know what's going on, and he tells them that their Connect was robbed, and they have no more product. And right away, who's dropping pennies, nickels, quarters, and dimes? Drew. He tells everything. This is not even 24 hours. And he tells them that Monet robbed the Connect. And now, Diana confirms it. She's like, yeah, I told you she was still working with Tariq at Stansfield. So now, he's upset. He wants his drugs and he wants them now. And he's telling them to do whatever they gotta do to get those drugs back. So we get to the courthouse. Tate is in the bathroom stall sitting there on the toilet. Tariq comes in. Tate is like, do you know how many nervous shits I had to sit through until you got here? So he done sat through a lot of nervous craps. Tariq wants some sort of guarantee that he's going to do what he says on the stand. This brought Tate back to old dog, and we hear him say, what you need to know is that I will destroy you off the stand every way I can. So Tariq hands over the photo. Tate looks satisfied with the proof that Tariq has provided. So Councilman Tate takes the stand. Jenny Sullivan is questioning him, and everything seems to be going well. And Councilman Tate seems to open up a can of worms by mentioning how he's proud of his brother being an investigator, and he also mentions about a possible witness, which this opens up the door for Davis McClain to ask for a mistrial. So do you feel like Tate threw his brother Kamal under the bus? I believe he threw him under the bus, but the wheels ain't roll over him. So he's alright. His job is going to be safe. But it gives Davis McClain right to ask for a mistrial because they weren't told about this witness. It also brings up a law called the Brady violation. And now Jenny Sullivan has to scramble to find this witness. Jenny Sullivan asked for a week to find this witness, but he gives her 48 hours to do some sort of proof that there is another witness, or it will be a mistrial. So this is a win for Tariq's day in court. And Zeke is at the bar drowning his sorrows. And he's talking to Mecca. He meets with Mecca. He tells Mecca also about how he was messing around with Professor Carey, a.k.a. Keylock. And he says that the Kings basketball team wanted him because he's 19, and he has this fear of once they find out his age, he won't get drafted. Zeke tells Dante how he is mad at Monet because she lied to his face all his life. Dante tells him how he will set up one-on-one training with him and he could leave school. Dante wants Zeke and Monet and himself to all sit down to try to repair their relationship. Now, they want to repair this relationship. I want to know, why did he tell him so much? And why is he so trusting? We still don't know this guy. He just wants him to try to work out things with Monet and himself. Drew and Diana sit down to devise a plan to go into Stansfield and get these drugs. And she has an idea where everything is hidden. Now, I have questions with this whole thing. How does she know about those lockers? Because I don't even think she was up there when Tariq has ever been in there. Tariq hasn't discussed this with her. So how is she finding out all of this info? So Drew and Diana get into a little back and forth about how this is why they don't tell her everything, because she tells everything to Poppy. But how you gonna say that and you just snitched to your father one day after y'all basically robbed the Connect? You was down with the robbery. The pot calling the kettle black, I say. So they devised this plans, but he has to get Everett's ID in order to get up to that rooftop. So to tell the truth, Monet tells everything. She lets them know that she was pregnant at 16 and she was pregnant for Dante and they send her down south. She had the baby down south and she had to give Zeke away when he was a baby. Monet lets Zeke know this was all beyond her control. Basically, her parents was doing all of this and she did not want to give him away. Dante confirms her story. He confirms her story also with her not having anything to do with Professor Carey's death, as well as her being there all night, which to me, it looks like he's lying through his teeth. So Zeke tells them both, once he's drafted in the NBA, he wants nothing to do with them. Have a nice life. I don't want nothing to do with y'all once I go to the NBA. Now, I want to know how Zeke think he gonna let Mecca gonna pay for his personal training with an NBA coach, as well as how he think he's gonna pay for his training like this, and you gonna tell him the same time you don't want nothing to do with him. You can't have it both ways. This is sometimes she is absolutely right with what she said about Zeke. He doesn't think things through. So Drew and Everett go through their hot and heavy makeout session once again, and he finds out that Drew's hand is all healed, so he want him to do that tattoo. But Drew's not here for all of that. He came to get Everett's ID. So he goes in the bathroom, gets that ID, and that's about it with that. Jenny Sullivan is getting down to the nitty gritty, and she is at the Weston's house with Brayden, Trace, his father, and you know what? They have a lawyer present, unlike Lauren's family. Now, they are questioning him about his knowledge because they have him on the wire speaking with Lorenzo Jr., aka Kane, and right now, Brayden is tight-lipped and he's not letting anyone know, I don't know what you're talking about, I don't know this person. But then you got this smart ass, his brother over here with his messed up nose, telling everything. He's spilling pennies, nickels, quarters, dimes. He even dumping out the lint that's in his pocket to tell everything. Now, he tells everything, how he's a drug dealer, how he's Tariq's partner, Kane. Brayden is still tight-lipped. He's saying he's a lying cokehead and this and that. But Jenny Sullivan came with receipts. She came with pictures. She got pictures. She's showing how both of them was with Kane and confirming the story that Trace said about Kane had them selling drugs on the street. So now they want one of the Westons to testify. So the Weston's lawyer says if one of them testifies, they both get immunity. So the person that's really willing to testify at this point is Trace. The question is it going to be Brayden or is it going to be Trace that testifies? Because now they got the proof that they was with Officer Ramirez, so they kind of could be connected to this murder. Because remember, that badge was found in that room. So if it's found in the room, it could confirm that not Tariq being connected to the murder, it could confirm that Brayden's connected to the murder. Did y'all think about that? Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Because I believe if Trace testifies, he's going to be a dead man. Brayden, however, he may be able to tiptoe around the situation and get over. Now, Brayden and Tariq are back at Stansville. Tariq is home from court. And Brayden finds out that Tariq did use the photo and gave it to Councilman Tate. And they get into a little argument about it because he said, I asked you not to use this photo, but Tariq explains how important it was for him to use this photo to save him from going to jail. And Brayden gets mad and leaves. Not once did Brayden mention that either Trace or him will have to testify on the stand and that the whole Jenny Sullivan incident went down and he has a lawyer. He didn't mention anything. Now, he didn't mention anything. I want to know, what do y'all think about Brayden testifying? What are the pros and cons with that? You know what? I might just come back and do a little something, because my wheels is turning now, and I might do a little theory thing and come back with that. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. I wish I could play Dirty Diana's theme music, because she is being dirty. She comes in with a little sob story. She's crying tears. And Tariq is showing her empathy. Even though Tariq is pressed for time and he has to talk to his lawyer, he gives Diana some time to talk. And she tells how her whole family is mad at her and how everybody hates her. How Monet is having an affair with Zeke's father and how they found out that Monet is not Zeke's aunt but his mother. While Tariq is consoling Diana, he puts his phone down on the desk. She asks him to go and get her some water because they don't have any more in the room, so he has to go down the hall to get some. This gives Diana enough time to go open Tariq's phone with his face as a picture in her phone and get the QR code. Shouts out to one of my subscribers, Suburbia Jones. He let me know this is possible because I was in disbelief of all of this. But it is possible. You can open somebody's phone like this. So a lot of people going to be having their phones checked and being secret squirrels with their spouses, husbands, wives, girlfriends, ain't doing they do. So Diana got what she needed to get from Tariq and Drew got what he needed to get from Everett. They go up on this roof and they open up all the lockers and they steal all the stash. They got all the drugs. I'm in disbelief with this part of how she knew all of this. I'm just saying. They go back to Poppy. They give him everything. And you know who he's basically congratulating or saying good job to? Your boy Drew. And Diana is still kind of looked at with disappointment. Is it because she gave up the skins to Tariq? Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Ew. So Lorenzo is happy with doing his thing, hustling, and he's happy that Drew is his number 2. And they just making moves, giving out everything. Zeke holds a press conference with his agent. They discuss how he's leaving Stansville to be in the draft and devote all his time. And one of the reporters brings up the fact that he may be drafted by a Kings basketball team. He doesn't confirm. He doesn't deny. And then the phones start going crazy in there. And then they see that he has falsified his records with his age. So now someone has alerted the media The deal is off the table. The agent is like, you can't even be down with the Kings if you're 23, boy. It's a wrap. Basically, his NBA career may be in the toilet. So Tariq runs into Lauren, and they discuss the whole Professor Milgram situation and how he's not responsible for what she did and how he shouldn't feel bad. And she also explains to him how she caught her with the drugs and suggested that she wear this watch, and she lets them know about how they were really trying to go after Brayden, and they discuss about Lorenzo, and now he knows that Lauren saw Kane and Brayden are on the wire. So Zeke, Monet, and Dante are at the basketball court, and they are discussing what just happened, and they feel like Lorenzo was a part of this. But I don't believe he is, because of the simple fact Lorenzo was just worried about making moves on the street, and he wasn't even bothered with the whole thing Zeke situation. I believe Mecca's behind this whole thing, because when this happened, you could see him on the phone before this shootout happens. So Tariq and Effie are having a heart-to-heart conversation, and she's also telling him that it is not his fault that teacher committed suicide, and that she had it coming to her. But then he talks about Lauren, and he says all she wanted was good grades and a good boyfriend. And I might be responsible for doing the same thing that happened with my mother, where she has to go away. So she's like, go away. You Malibu Barbie's a snitch and this and that. So now she knows that Tariq wants to send her away instead of killing her. Effie thinks it's a bad idea. Tariq gets a beep from the custody attorney, so he has to leave. And in the meantime, Effie goes and she meets up with Kane. She meets with Kane. Now, people are saying it looks like they've been talking before this heist, but I don't think so. And she tells them what's going on, how Kane and Brayden are on the wire that Lauren had, and he knows about Lauren, so she has to be dealt with. So she gives Kane a heads up. I want to know what y'all think. Do y'all think that Effie and Kane know each other prior to the heist when they robbed the Connect? Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Another question, do y'all think she's getting close to Kane so she could kill him for Tariq's sake? Let me know what y'all think. So Brayden meets with Kane. Kane lets him know what's going on. And he also tells her that Lauren has to go and you have to be the one to do it. I gave you a gun, so now you gotta use it. He's saying he's not that type of person. This is not what he does. And he doesn't want to do this. He doesn't want to kill Lauren, and he's totally against it. But Kane tells him he has no choice. Councilman Tate has dinner with Stephen Ott, and Stephen Ott is discussing about how what he did to his brother. And Councilman Tate says, he's all right, but your brother could have lost his job behind the stunt that you pulled today. But Tate is like he didn't. And he says, I'm here to discuss about Sweeney. And he slides in the picture, and Ott sees the picture, and you can see the expression on his face lets him know that this is a game changer, and it might put Tate in the runnings to run for office. And he's like, cheers. Ew. Jenny Sullivan is on her way to the Westons to discuss which one of the Weston brothers will testify. And just as she gets there, she bumps into Brayden. And Brayden, it happens to be leaving the same time she's coming. And she tells him, what it would be like if Trace testifies. So it needs to be you. What do y'all think? Do you think Brayden being on the stand is more controllable? I think so, because Trace is a loose cannon at this point. He's going to tell everything. they'll all be in jail. So Tariq meets with Daniel Warren, and Daniel Warren has bad news for him. He tells him that his sister Yasmin has been adopted by another family, so the records will be closed, and this is her family. And he actually shows him. He runs out of the car, and Mr. Warren is like, Mr. St. Patrick, Mr. St. Patrick, Mr. St. Patrick. But he sees that they are celebrating her birthday, and you can see the sadness in Tariq's eyes, but he lets it go down. So Tariq won in court today, and he lost his final immediate family member. So now that Zeke is out of the draft and the possibilities of being with the NBA, Mecca wants him to just live in paradise with his parents and have a good life from there. I believe at this point we are seeing that Monet is starting to catch on, and I think she knows that he has something to do with that shootout at the park. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. So Brayden goes to meet up with Effie at her school, and he tells her that he has to do something that he doesn't want to do. She tells him that it's part of the game. And he was like, why does everybody say that? And she tells him, look, you always wanted to be a part of this. You wanted to be a part of the game and choke, and now you wanted to be a part of the game now. You can't just pick and choose when you want to play and when you don't want to play. So basically she tells him the real deal. He got to man up and do what he has to do. And she also asks, is it something that Tariq told him to do? And he says no, it's somebody else, but he doesn't say. So we see here that Cane is still on that tight leash. He can't go nowhere. He's still at the compound, Mecca's workspace, and he can't go nowhere. So Mecca comes in, and he's getting ready to leave, but then he comes back out the room, and he points the gun at Cane. He tells him, where's my bag? And Kane's like, I don't know what you're talking about. He says, look, I know y'all stole the drugs, but I need my bag. You're gonna get me my bag, and I need it. He's still denying it, but then he finally comes clean, and he tells him, he doesn't say who has the bag. So now Mecca looks at his tracker on his phone, the tracking device, and it was a tracking device in that bag. Remember, we all thought it was in the ring box, that fancy ring box. We see that the tracking device shows that the bag is at Stansfield, so it's probably in Tariq's dorm room. So now he tells him he can't go nowhere, stay here, and he locks down the compound. And Cane, when all else fails, like all of these young men, they call a mama. He lets her know that he knows that they stole the drugs. He also lets Monet know that he thinks he's gonna die. He says his goodbyes. He tells her to make up with Diana. And he also tells her that he thinks that he's going to kill Tariq, and then he's going to come back and kill me. And she said, this doesn't make any sense. Why would he leave you there with a phone if he's going to kill you? And she puts two and two together. She says, you know what? Let me see a picture of this Mecca. So Tariq gets the text from Cane saying Mecca knows everything, and he activated the tracking device in the bag. Tariq gets the bag, and he finally looks in it for the first time, and he sees all of these passports with Cane, Diana, Monet, Drew. So it looks like they gonna leave town. He sees all of this. He takes the tracking device out the bag, throws it on the desk, and he's looking more in the bag, and this is where he sees the U.S. Attorney's Office file. Tariq opens the file, reads a little bit of it, snaps a picture of it. So I think he's going to send this to Davis McClain at this point to see what he could dig up. He takes the bag out of that dorm room. He takes the bag. So who y'all think got this bag? Do y'all think Davis McClain has the bag? Or do you think that he took the bag to that apartment that he has to stay at? Because you know he can only go 3 places. He makes a phone call to Brayden. He tells Brayden to pick up Lauren, but Brayden is already at Lauren's house. He's outside, and he's there already. He's outside before Tariq tells him to go there. And you know what he outside there for. Lauren is so appreciative that Brayden picks her up, but he has a look of guilt on his face at the same time, and he's telling her it's no problem. gets on the phone with his lawyer, talks to Davis McClain. Davis McClain lets Tariq know that Dante is a snitch to the fifth power and he needs to be careful, and how much immunity he has. And when he opens the door, Dante Spears is in his room. So he's like, hey Tariq, where's my fucking bag? And he's like, it's not here. Dante tells Tariq, I know a lot about you. I know about your Uncle Tommy. I know about your dad. And I know what you did to him. And Tariq is like, so rat me out. Isn't that what you do? You ratted on some of the biggest people in the game. Isn't that what Dante Spears does? And he says his whole name. So you know he didn't get his full name from Kane, because Kane knows him as Mecca. And this sets Dante off, and he goes at Tariq and puts the gun under his chin. But this ain't the first time your boy had a gun on him. So he's like, yo, I want $2 million. And he tells him he wants $2 million. And he's like, what makes you think you entitled to $2 million? And he's gonna give him $2 million as soon as he gets his bag back. So he says he wants it in an offshore account, but that's not even enough to pay Davis McClain the way Davis McClain is turning his pockets into rabbit ears. Anywho, so he asks for $2 million in an offshore account, or he's gonna let other people know where he is, other people that he snitched on, that is. And he's gonna try to come through with this. So we're going to see where we go from there. So Mecca gives his last evil menaces monologue, and he tells him a story about when he was in the army and how people were sold to the highest bidder. And he mentions Lobos. He mentions Lobos and how he gave Lobos up and for his freedom. And he also mentions to tell your father thank you in hell, because Lobos was killed by Tariq's father. Remember, Ghost and Tommy killed Lobos. Brayden is supposed to be driving Lauren out of town, and I guess he must have made some kind of turn where Lauren woke up in the car and she like, where the heck are we? Look like they in some kind of woods somewhere. And he makes her get out of the car, and he pulls the gun out on her. He pulls the gun out on her. Then he goes to the back of the trunk, and she's telling him, you're not this. This is not you. You know me. Don't do this. This is not you. Brayden's not able to shoot her. He's not able to pull a trigger. He gives her the bag, tells her to get out of town, tells her there's a bus station a mile up the block, and she needs to get away and stay off the grid. So Lauren is thanking Brayden for letting her go. And just as everything seems like it's about to be okay, Effie pulls up in the Acura. So Effie's got the hammer out. She got it pointed at Lauren. And she tells her to move away from the car. And she tells her to get on. And she's like, no, I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to stay off the grid. And she says, I'm not going to bother you and Tariq. And she says, I'm not like Tariq. And she makes her get in the car and she hits her. I don't know if she hit her with the gun on her hand, but she hits Lauren and she gets knocked out, and she puts her in the car. She takes the money and they leave. So Mecca gets back to the apartment where Kane is, and he's getting ready to tell Kane a whole bunch of stuff. But guess who's there? Monet. Now I want to know, how did she get in this apartment? How did she get in here? Shouts out to my girl Marcia. She brought that to my attention. Yeah, if he locked the apartment down, how did she get in here? So anywho, she says, okay, nice name, Mecca. Now, Kane knows that Mecca's Dante, knows that he's Zeke's father, and he feels like he was being used all this time. So you know how he is when somebody hurt his feelings. So, do you think that Kane is capable of killing Mecca? Let me know what y'all think in the comments. She says at this point, she wants all of them to get away, but they got to kill Lorenzo first. So she's trying to talk Dante into killing Lorenzo. Monet tells Dante, I'm ready to go. We're ready to go. So she says, we want to go in that jet that you so want to fly in, and we want to get away with you. But we have a common enemy, and that is Lorenzo. So Monet wants Dante to take Lorenzo out. So Effie comes back to Tariq's room. She comes in the room barefoot. Was it because she has dirt on her shoes from killing Lauren? Or was it just because she just didn't want to wake up Tariq? She looks kind of distraught at what's going on. And she also looks like she's sad or maybe guilty about what she did. Okay, shouts out to Marcia again. She was saying there was some sort of bruise on Effie's hand. I brightened up the picture as much as I could. I don't see her bruise here, so we don't know at this point if she killed Lauren or if she didn't. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. So that was my review of A Fair Fight. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the hammer. Let me know y'all stop by. Tell me what y'all think about it in the comments. And also, do you think that Kane is going to kill Mecca? Do you think that Lorenzo and Mecca are going to have a face-off? Or Dante, or whatever the case may be, are going to have a face-off? And it's going to be a fight to the death? What are your prediction of the... I think, how many deaths do y'all think is going to be in the finale? And just let me know what y'all think about this video and the way that it was done. And please leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe. And I appreciate y'all for stopping by. Later, and